Friday, June 5th. We are here for 60 minutes of vinyasa, change up from our usual Bikram that we do on Mondays and Wednesdays. Thank you for joining me, and I'll just get right to it because I know a few people have been waiting. We're going to stand comfortably in the middle of the mat, feet together, and just as we often start, take a few deep breaths to ground ourselves in this moment. Let go of what has passed and let go for now of anticipation on what's to come, and simply be here for our practice. So as you slow down the breath and really begin to notice the inhales and exhales, take a look down at your feet. Notice every little part. We're going to check in with all the little corners of our body, the dusty corners that sometimes don't get a lot of attention. So we'll start with our feet. Take a look down at your feet. Spread those toes nice and wide. If it's comfortable to stand with big toes together, go ahead. It might be a little more comfortable to experiment. Since normally in Bikram, we start with big toes together, experiment and have those feet apart, about hip width. Just spread the big toes and then just bend the knees a bit. And you may feel a stretch in the back of your calves along your Achilles coming up from your ankles. Bend the knees, feel that stretch, walk them out a bit, and then we'll turn the attention to our hips here. So let's take a few hip circles actually. So hands on hips and just circle around. And as you're doing these hip circles, notice where the weight shifts across your feet. So normally with hip circles, we feel where the stretching happens. Let's also notice what the weight distribution, how it changes in our feet. And now take it to the other side. So a few hip circles here. And then let's go side to side. Bringing the arm overhead, right arm overhead as you bend to the left. Left arm overhead as you go to the right. Side to side. And then just super gently here, we'll take it front to back. So bend just a bit for the beginning of a forward fold, but not the whole way down. Just bend the knees a bit. Feel yourself hinge at the hips. I'm going to give you a side view to show you what I mean by hinge at the hips. Hinge by pushing the booty back, slight micro bend in the legs, in the knees, and push the booty back. Chest comes forward. So just take a few small, not even halfway down, like a quarter of the way down, and feel that. Bend one knee at a time. You can really feel whether or not one side, one hamstring is tighter than the other. And then we'll check in with a bit of a back bend. So lift the chest and come back down. And then inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, straighten on up again. One more time, inhale, lift the chest, look up. And then on an exhale, we'll straighten back down. So we've traveled up our feet, ankles, hips, chest. Now let's just bring it into the neck and check in with our neck a bit. So go ahead and drop your right shoulder, your right ear to your right shoulder, and feel that nice deep stretch just along the left side, nice and gentle. I'm moving really slowly. And then the same on the other side. Left ear to left shoulder, and one more time, right ear to right shoulder. Everything else is just square, and I've got my shoulders very relaxed. And one more time on the other side. Just a little at a time, and then maybe shoulder roll. Speaking of those shoulders being relaxed, if you tense them up and bring them up to your ears, and then let them slide back and down. So shoulder blades slide down your back. That'll really turn It'll rotate your shoulders open so that palms are more facing the front of the room, or at least your thumbs. Thumbs or palms to the front of the room when you stand in Tadasana here. So we did a light scan of everything there, from toes all the way up to the head. Just remember with the head to keep your chin level, crown of the head, think of like energy shooting up towards the ceiling, nice and lifted and tall, but without tipping your chin. You don't want to tip your chin up and tilt the head back. You want a neutral chin, or perhaps even angled slightly down. So check in one more time now that we've made all those adjustments with your toes. Remember, they're spread wide. Rock back a bit so that the weight is mostly distributed over the heels. Give your booty a squeeze to activate the glutes. Make sure they're awake because we're going to use them in these later poses. And then the shoulders slide up and back. That'll bring the chest to a lift. But now just take your hands and check in with the bottom ribs here. If bringing your shoulders up and back and lifting your chest causes your belly to stick out and your lower back to arch, just pull the belly in. Pull the belly in, the ribs will come in, the pelvis will become neutral. I'll stand to the side again. If lifting the chest and sliding the shoulders back causes the belly to go soft and for the pelvis to tip, if you bring those ribs in, stomach strong, that'll encourage your pelvis to become more neutral. So we don't want a total arch, and we also don't want it to be completely tucked. And if you want to exaggerate those movements with your pelvis by arching your back and then tucking your pelvis, practice that and then find that neutral position with a really strong core. And finally, hands are turned out so that your palms face the front. This is our beginning posture, Tadasana, just standing here. So to bring just a little more attention to the breath now, let's exhale together to prepare for a nice deep inhale. So exhale all that air out, and we'll inhale here. And exhale. And if you haven't done so, why don't you just go ahead and close your eyes. Stand here in Tadasana, and we will just inhale together. We're going to do it 2 more times. Inhale, eyes closed. As deep as you can. When you think you've reached your limit, pull in a little bit more air, and then exhale, let it go. And again, when you think you've let all that air go, find a little more air in the depth of your belly and push it out. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, open those eyes again. We have a strong standing position and strong breath we're working with now. Let's begin to involve the rest of the body as we move into sun salutations. Inhale, bend the knees just a bit and raise the arms overhead. If you'd like to peek up at your hands when they come up to the top, feel free. And then exhale, lower those arms down. Nice and slowly move to match the breath with your body. When you reach the pit of that exhale, push it all out, and then bend the knees just a bit again, and inhale, arms overhead. As they come up, pinkies turn towards one another, look up. Exhale, bring it back down. Maybe micro bends in the knees as you bring the arms down. 1 more like that. Inhale, arms come up. Peek up with those hands, and exhale, bend the knees, arms come down. Let's move into our halfway fold down. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down, and now swan dive, leading with your chest, hinging at the hips, and just come down halfway. And then inhale, pick it back up. Exhale, swan dive down, hit halfway. Exhale, pick it back up. If you have a pair of blocks here, grab your blocks. I'll do the same. And rather than facing the front, facing the computer screen, turn to the side so that you're able to use the length of your mat. If your mat is set up the same way as mine, if it's set up so that it's also the length that's running long and facing the screen, just stay there. But we want to be able to use the whole mat now. So we're going to hold this next halfway lift. Find Tadasana, the strong standing pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Peek up. Exhale, swan dive back down. Lead with the chest, hinge at the hips, and now find the blocks. And if you don't have blocks, you can rest your hands on right below your knees on your shins. If you need to come up just a little higher, that's fine. Bend the knees as much as you need to and rest the hands on the thighs. I just don't want anyone pushing on their knees. That'll hyperextend the knees, not good. So find that halfway lift and we're gonna hold it for a bit. In this halfway lift, we're starting to really feel a stretch in the hamstrings and the back of our legs. Breathe here. Take those nice, deep, long breaths. And then just bend one knee at a time and start to pedal out the legs in the halfway lift and notice whether or not one side is tighter than the other. You may have some popping happening in the ankles or the hips. If you want to exaggerate the hips, you can take a deeper knee bend and really push the hip towards the side, towards the knee that's bending, and find a bit of a twist. But we're just finding some mobility here in the hips. Okay, let's return to that halfway lift. Just a micro bend in the knees and really notice now whether or not your belly button is pulled in. If you pull that belly button in, it helps open the space here in the lower back. Helps relax the lower back just a bit. The more you pull the belly in, pull the core in this halfway lift. Let's take one more deep breath here. Exhale to prepare, and then we'll inhale here. Think of lengthening out on the inhale, the crown of your head shoots towards the front. Exhale, pull the belly in, pull the belly in. Inhale, come back up. Bring those hands overhead, look at your fingers. Exhale, swan dive down, and we're going past halfway now into our first forward fold. So move the blocks out of the way if you want to. Hands can come all the way to the floor. If they need to stay on blocks, that's fine. And for this deeper fold, we're going to bend the knees as much as you need to. I like to bend the knees as much as I need and bring my hands into my belly. Make sure I'm hinging at the hips to lay the belly across the upper thighs. So chest and belly are glued to the upper thighs. My knees are pretty bent. This is not about trying to touch your toes with legs straight. It's about getting your belly to your thighs. Hips hinge and point towards the ceiling as your hands and arms relax down to the ground, and finally your head and neck can come down and go. Shake your head out, shake your neck, loosen your neck by shaking your head no, nodding it yes. And just like we did in the forward fold, come up maybe onto fingertips if you need to, and just begin to straighten one leg at a time, which will tilt the pelvis a bit, but just walk it out one leg at a time and take a check to see which side might be tighter, where you feel that stretch. And finally, with your head and neck hanging here, after you've pedaled out your legs a bit, we're just gonna breathe. That's all you need to do right now. And with every inhale, think of inhaling and lifting those hips high to the ceiling. Maybe your legs begin to straighten a bit on the inhale. Exhale, let your head and neck just really come down and relax. Inhale, hips high to the ceiling. Exhale, head and neck relax, come down to the floor. The gravity just pulls your head down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's come out of this fold. Inhale, arms overhead. We stayed upside down for a while there. So just bring hands to heart center now. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. Our hands are in prayer. It's a hand mudra called Anjali Mudra, hands in prayer. We're stacked up in Tadasana. Take a breath here. Nice deep breaths. And we'll go through that one more time. We aren't going to hold the forward fold as long because we're going to step it back into plank from that forward fold. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with the chest, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your feet back into plank. Plant your hands, step the feet back. Find plank here. It can be on your knees with your toes flipped down, resting comfortably on the mat. Or if you want to fire it up a little more, flip the toes. Make sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrist. Lift the hips high and just rock back and forth a bit on your toes. Find a little mobility there, and also notice the way the weight shifts in your hands over your wrist, and not to dump too much weight in the wrist. Just press the pads of those fingertips into the mat. Great. Okay, so from plank, just keep the elbows tucked close to your ribs and lower down all the way onto your belly. Forehead on the mat. Slide the palms forward and rest on your forearms for Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx here, your legs are together, nice and tight, zipped up from ankles all the way up your inner thighs. You're resting on your forearms. And this is just a slight back bend with the chest lifted. Pay attention to your chin here, that it is not tipped up. You don't need to be looking up at the ceiling or even high up on the wall. Just gaze straight in front of you. Chin can actually be tucked down a bit, and your gaze can just be on the floor several feet in front of you or just at the wall in front of you. So one more thing here. Let's think about shoulders. Inhale and bring that chest up. Let the shoulders drop away from your ears and feel that shift of weight in your elbows as you come up a little higher. Okay, let's bring it all the way down back onto our belly and push yourself up and back into child's pose. So for child's pose, think of being on hands and knees. Walk the knees forward a little and then separate the feet enough that you can just push yourself back. Rest your belly comfortably between your thighs and press your hands into the mat to open up at the armpits and bring the forearms off the mat. Hold child's pose here. Let your hips be really heavy coming back between your heels, and your hands are pressed into that mat. And if you rotate the weight back and forth, one palm to the other, it'll really open up in the armpits and feel that stretch in the armpits. Now inhale back into hands and knees for tabletop. We'll do a few cat-cows here. Push all the air out of your belly. Exhale as you round your back into a Halloween cat pose and look down. Let the head and neck hang. Shake your head out if you need to. Inhale, drop the belly, let it go really soft, and just arch your back now. Pelvis is tilted. Back is arched. Look up at the ceiling. Exhale, complete opposite movement for the spine by tucking the pelvis, tipping the chin towards the neck. You can glue your chin onto your neck and round that back. And then inhale. Let it go. Arch the back here. For cow, one more time. Exhale all the way out for Halloween cat. Inhale, cow. Now we'll take some hip circles. Drop your hips back to your right heel. Let them cross around at the left and come up and over your wrist. We'll do that 3 times on each side. So rotating clockwise with your hips. Make the movements as big or as small as you want. One more here on this side. And then find your neutral tabletop. And we'll go to the other side. So counterclockwise with the hips now, dropping first towards the left heel, passing over the right, rotating around. 2 more. And then come back into your comfortable tabletop and we will move into our first down dog for the morning. So flip the toes. Feel your toes press into the mat, feel your fingertips and toes pressed into the mat here. Come up, hover off your knees just a bit, and then shoot the hips up towards the ceiling while you're pushed back in your hands. Push back in the hands, shoot the hips up. And when the hips are as high as you can get them and the armpits have opened up, go ahead and begin to straighten your legs. Pull the belly in here. Protect the lower back by pulling the belly in, and then walk out your dog. Straighten one leg at a time, then the other. Walking the dog here. Breathe here. Once you've found a comfortable down dog to start here, try to have 1 round of breath, and inhale and exhale with more stillness, not a lot of adjustments. Just find this pose and feel it with some breath. And we'll all move together here, so wherever you are, exhale the air out. Inhale, shift your weight forward as you tiptoe those feet to your hands, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down, Anjali Mudra. So if you have practiced vinyasa with me, you know that I like to really take it easy as we work into our first couple sun salutations. Good morning. I'm just checking comments here. Hi, Carmen, Aaron, and Carter. Thanks for being here, you guys. So yeah, we just did really slow sun salutation to warm up. Let's go ahead and we'll go through, let's do 2 more at a little faster pace now. So we've already gone through every movement we're going to at that nice slow pace, and you've checked in. It's really nice to know whether or not you're tight somewhere, hopefully prevents an injury by going slow to start, but now we'll speed it up. So standing in Tadasana, hands in Anjali Mudra. Exhale here together to prepare. Everyone let that breath out. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into plank. Hold plank here for a breath. So inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, shift your weight forward just a bit, come high on your toes. Exhale, lower down all the way, keep the elbows tucked close to the ribs. Inhale, press up through the hands for cobra, lifting the chest, elbows in. Exhale, push back into down dog. Find that down dog, take your time with it. I'll hold for 3 breaths in down dog. On your next inhale, tiptoe your feet over to your hands and come all the way up into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into plank. Hold plank. For one round of breath. On your next inhale, shift the weight forward a bit. Exhale, lower down, keep elbows close to the ribs. And then if you want to push yourself up and come on through to up dog or cobra or stay in that sphinx that we did at the beginning. Take a breath, one round of breath here. And if you can, lift those thighs off the mat, squeeze the butt. And then on an exhale, push it back into down dog. Flip over your toes. Breathe and down dog. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward and tiptoe those toes to the fingers. Come up to halfway lift. That's all one breath. And inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And close. Okay, great couple rounds of sun salutation. We're going to do warrior one now, and I'm gonna try this with the mat facing the camera. Use some blocks. We're gonna do warrior one and some variations to open up the hips. So facing the front here, begin in Tadasana with hands at heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. On an exhale, forward fold, swan dive down, bring your hands down maybe to the blocks, and then step the left foot back so that we're in runner's lunge. So right foot in front with the knee stacked over the ankle, left foot straight back, and if you have blocks and want to use them, just hold yourself up in this runner's lunge. Find your runner's lunge here. Really pull the back left leg up. Think of bringing it up towards the ceiling, the back of your leg towards the ceiling. That'll really bring some energy into it and engage the glute. And then go ahead and drop that left knee. And then inhale, arms up, look up, and then come on down. Let's do that one more time. My back left knee is dropped. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come down. Now flip those back toes again. Lift the back left knee, and we're going to take this low runner's lunge into a high lunge. So inhale, bring arms up as you rise on up. And your front leg may have straightened a bit. Bend that knee a little more so it's stacked up over the ankle. And take your arms here and just check hips are square because your left hip may have wanted to pop open. So bring it down if you need to and think of pulling the right hip back to make sure that they are square and that left glute is turned on. Engage, that brings the left leg up. Hold hands overhead here. Nice, strong crescent lunge. This is a high lunge or crescent lunge. Look up at your pinkies if you want. The pinkies are turned towards one another. Shoulder blades slide down the back. And on an exhale, bring it back down. Find your blocks and you can drop the knee. Give that strong right leg a break. Push through the right leg as your hips shoot back. And this is just a half split here to stretch out the front hamstring. Come on back over to runner's lunge. That back knee is dropped this whole time. My back left knee is dropped. Shoot it back into half splits. And then come in one more time to runner's lunge with the back knee lifted. Inhale, arms up for crescent lunge. And if you're ready to try warrior one, drop that back heel. You can step the back foot out just a bit. Drop the back heel. And again, I had that opened my hips up when I dropped the heel. So I'll take them with my hands and coax them forward towards the front to stay square, which means the right hip crease can come back. Think of it coming back. Left hip crease moves forward. Final expression in warrior one is to lift those arms overhead. And think of having nice strong arms with pinkies turned towards one another. But at the same time, if you're hunching your shoulders up towards your ears, slide them down. Hold warrior one here. Bend that knee in the front so it's stacked up over your ankle. And then let it go. Bring the arms down, find your blocks, rotate your back heel, drop the knee, shoot back one more time into the half splits on that side. And we'll bring the back left foot back up to meet the right. Inhale to a halfway lift. It's nice to have the blocks here. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. So let's do it on the other side now. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Find your blocks as you step the right foot back. Runner's lunge now with left foot forward. Find this nice posture in a runner's lunge, keeping the chest lifted. The knee is stacked over the ankle, and that back right leg now is turned on. And if you need to take a squeeze that back right glute, and that should lift some energy off away from the mat and energy coming out the back of the leg towards the ceiling. Take a breath here, really feel this stretch and opening, and then drop the right knee, flip the toes so that they're not tucked, they're just resting comfortably down. And now we'll inhale, arms up, look up, exhale, come back down, just tap the blocks or the floor. Inhale, arms up, exhale, bring them back down. Fire up that back leg again by lifting the knee off the mat. We're in low lunge now. We're going to move into high lunge or crescent lunge by coming off the floor blocks. Inhale, arms up. My hips are square to the mat. That can mean that you want to check if you need to with your hands to just pull that left hip crease back. Move the right one forward. Heel is lifted in my back right foot. Arms are nice and strong overhead, but not with shoulders shrugging up towards the ears. You can look up to those fingers if you want. Great job holding there. Let's bring it back down to low lunge. Drop the knee. Push back into half splits now with the left leg straight. Hips heavy and fall back. And then bring it forward for your runner's lunge. Hips shoot back for half splits. The toes on the left foot come up towards the ceiling or even curl back towards your face. One more time, come forward. Send it back to half splits. And come on forward. Lift that back knee. Find first your low lunge. Inhale into your crescent. And if you're ready to move on to warrior one, walk the back toes out just a bit, enough that it'll allow you to drop that back left or right heel. Right foot is in back, right heel down. And I'm going to take my hands again and just remind my hips they want to be square. So that means left hip needs to come back. Even as I bend that left knee, right hip comes forward. Final expression, look up at those pinkies that are turned towards one another, keeping the shoulders away from your ears. Breathe here, nice strong warrior one. And then when you're ready, come on out of it, let it go. All the way down into that runner's lunge with a dropped right knee, untuck the toes, and we're going to shoot back into half splits. Come on forward. One more time back into half splits. Great, that was a great warrior one sequence. Really opening and stabilizing at the same time the hips. So with my mat now at the side view, we're going to incorporate the warrior one we just did. Let's see, gotta make sure as I'm adjusting things that I'm still in the camera. We're going to incorporate the warrior one we just did into sun salutations. So the sun salutations that I have us begin with on Friday mornings. They've been called Surya Namaskar A or Sun Salutation Series A. There's also a B, and that's the one that we're going to do now. That one brings in chair and warrior one into the sun salutations. So now that we've got warrior one going and we're open and ready for it, we're going to incorporate it into sun salutations. Surya Namaskar B. So begin in Tadasana, hands in prayer. And the difference here is that instead of bending the knees slightly and just raising arms overhead, we begin Surya Namaskar B by bending the knees and sitting back into the vinyasa chair. So the Bikram chair is arms straight out and a really deep sit back. The vinyasa chair is a slight bend in the knees, chest stays lifted, and arms come overhead, pinkies towards one another. As you sit back, but with a straight spine and a lifted chest, arms overhead. And with this chair in particular, because of the way the knees are bending, you really feel a stretch in your Achilles, in the back of your ankles here. So still take a look that knees don't go past the toes in this chair, just like in Bikram. We don't want the knees past the toes. Make sure they're not passing the toes. As you inhale, look up, sit back in your chair, feet are together, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into plank and lower down all the way in one breath. Inhale into cobra or your up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath here. Exhale all that air out here. On an inhale, inhale right leg up into three-legged dog. Right leg is lifted, hips are square. On an exhale, bring it through into that low lunge. And then inhale up into warrior one, right leg in front. One breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then on your next exhale, bring the hands down, plant the hands by your foot. Bring the foot back. You can do a three-legged chaturanga here if you want. So go either right into plank, or if you want to leave that right leg lifted, do one-legged plank and then lower down with the right leg lifted. Inhale up into up dog. Exhale, push it back into down dog. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale, left leg up, three-legged dog with hips square. Exhale, bring the leg through. Plant your foot by your hands in a low lunge on the left. Inhale, warrior one, drop the back heel. Take a nice deep breath in warrior one. Hips are square. On your next exhale, bring the hands down, plant them down by the toe, and here you can either shoot back into plank or a one-legged plank by keeping that left leg lifted in plank. Lower down, chaturanga with left leg lifted, and then you can drop it for your up dog. Shoot back into down dog. Take a breath here. Take a couple breaths here. On your next inhale, shift the weight forward, first on your toes, and then walk the toes up to meet the hands all the way into half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, drop the hands down, Anjali Mudra. So that was awesome. Let's take a drink here. That was Surya Namaskar B with a warrior one. Okay. Take a drink, and we're going to do that one more time, the Surya Namaskar B. One more time, a little faster this time. And that was, I don't think I've taught a three or a one-legged chaturanga, which is the part where we lower from plank all the way down to the floor to move into up dog. So that was maybe new. And if you liked it and want to try it again, this will be another opportunity. So just remember to keep the leg lifted as you get lower from plank down to chaturanga. And then it's when you push through to the up dog that the toes touch the ground. Okay. So one more time, Surya Namaskar B. I'm going to do my usual guidance with whether or not you're on an inhale or exhale. And it's going to be a little faster. The big transition happens that it's hard to keep up with, frankly, between pushing back to down dog and inhaling to warrior one. Because as you're pushing back into down dog, that same breath is used as you bring the leg forward to prepare for warrior one. So you'll see what I mean. And if it feels rushed, just know that you're not alone. It is a rushed moment, and it kind of throws people off when they're first learning this particular sun salutation. So you're not alone. Don't worry. You might fall behind. That's my too long didn't read version, TLDR. You may be behind with the breath. Don't worry about it. Okay. Let's start into Tadasana, hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Let's just slow it down a bit for a moment because I've given a lot of instruction, probably more than is helpful at this point. So just inhale here. Remember to let the breath lift that chest. Exhale, and on an exhale, it's a time for grounding on the exhale. So just notice the feet, where your weight is distributed over the feet. Inhale again. My eyes are closed. If you want to close yours, lift the chest. Remember to keep that belly pulled in though, and then exhale and feel that grounding as it travels through your hips and your feet. Let's do one more deep breath. Inhale, lift the chest. Feel the energy from the crown of the head radiating towards the ceiling, and then exhale, grounding down towards the floor. Inhale, chair pose, bend slightly at the knees, lift the arms, look up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, step back into plank, keep elbows tucked as you lower all the way down. Inhale for up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog, bring the right leg forward. Inhale into warrior one. Exhale, plant the hands, shoot the right foot back and keep it lifted if you want for a one-legged chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left leg forward. Inhale, warrior one on the left side. Exhale, plant the hands, left foot back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Hold down dog here for 3 breaths. Really refine that dog by pressing into the mat with the palms and your fingertips. If you want to bend the knees for a moment, just to make sure you've stretched your feet and ankles and Achilles out and lifted the hips as high as you can. Drop the armpits down, knees are bent to really refine all of that. And then you can begin to let gravity pull the heels down, which will straighten your legs out again. If your heels don't touch the mat, don't worry about it. And inhale, the next inhale you've got, go ahead and walk forward to your fingertips to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. So that was Surya Namaskar B at a much faster pace. And gave you a feel for what that's like. We're going to move into our balancing pose for the morning, and we're going to do half moon this morning. We haven't done it in a while. So have your blocks ready for half moon. I'm gonna have one on one side, one on the other. And you may remember this from the last time we did half moon in a vinyasa stream, that the half moon in vinyasa is different than the half moon in Bikram. Completely different. I don't know why they ended up calling the Bikram half moon what they called it, because, well, I guess I kind of do know why, because we make the shape of a crescent moon, but it's just very different than the vinyasa tradition. Okay, so to prepare for half moon, we've done a warrior one, we're going to open up into a warrior two. So to open up into warrior two, if you're facing the front here, sorry, I've got some watery eyes. Okay, step the left foot out, foot's parallel with the back of the mat. And then you're gonna just open up your stance, right foot out, and turn on that heel so that your right toes are facing the side of the room. Bend at the knee. And you're gonna, for me, I'm tight this morning. I'm feeling that we haven't opened our hips this way. We've opened them in warrior one, but in warrior one, the hips are square. In warrior two, they're open. So I'm feeling that right now in my left hip. So just take a moment, like take your left hand if you want and rest it on your hip and just let gravity, don't push it down, but feel as gravity lets that hip lower down. It'll cause you to have a lower, deeper stance. And my stance is very long, I know that. So yours may look a little more like, this, but as long as the knee is stacked over the heel and that back blade of your left foot is lining up with the back of the mat. So find whatever stance you need to for your warrior two. One more thing to think about is that if you look down at your right heel, if you drew a straight line from your right heel through your back foot, it would intersect at the arch, like in the middle of your left foot. So that's where your feet want to be in relation to one another. Okay, so we have honed in on the legs. Let's lift the arms. Warrior two. And to go from warrior two into that half moon, take your left hand, put it on your hip, and then just walk those back left toes forward. The right toes stay where they are. And you'll have to take a leap of faith. It's a balancing posture to lift off the back left toes and onto the right. I'm going to move on my mat just so you can really see me. You don't need to move. So you're lifting off the left toes onto the right foot, left hand's on the hip, and this is where you can find your block. It's helpful to lower down into this halfway position on the right foot. So this is half moon, and if you are not quite into that lift off and on the left leg, you can just play with it. It's playtime. Everyone's going to be looking different. And just practice coming up, hand on the hip, coming off the left toes. You don't have to lower your upper body down so far. That takes some overcoming of fear, frankly, to be able to lift into this posture. It's a very scary posture for a lot of people at first. So just practice coming off the left toes and standing on the right foot and keeping your upper body lifted. If you are ready to take the leap, the plunge, you can really come off and lower the upper body. On your block, if you want to make it all the way down to the floor, if you want to play with balance here with your left arm, you can bring left hand to your heart is a really calming way to hold this balance. You can also open it up. And Erin may be particularly interested in this one, this version. If you're here, we'll see if I'm here. I might not be. If you're here balanced on your right foot and you're in this opening of the chest and leg, bend that back knee, grab it with your foot, and you're in a version of dancer in half moon here with your body, lower body completely lifted. So try that if you want. wherever you are, everyone's going to look so different, which is something I actually love about half moon in these postures, where it can look so different from one another. Okay, when you've had enough, come on out of it. Walk your legs out if you need to. Take a drink. Let me know if Erin tried the version of dancer. All right. Okay. All right, we're ready for the next side. I hope you, viewer, are having as much fun as I am with this. Half moon can sometimes just feel very serious and scary, and I always try to not let it be that, especially, yeah, right now for this practice in these times. Okay, so we'll move on to half moon in the other side. So standing in Tadasana, Anjali Mudra, as I often have us do when we finish a posture, let's let that go. That was half moon on your right leg. Now we're going to move on to a different leg, which is going to feel different and be new and different with no expectations. So let's just honor that here by taking a breath. You can close your eyes if you want. Inhale. Feel that chest lift, crown of your head lift towards the ceiling. Exhale. Grounding down through the hips and the feet. We're going to open it up to warrior two on the other side. So blink open your eyes here if you had them shut. Step your right foot out towards the side of the mat. Keep your feet right now are straight forward, pointing towards the camera, and the blade of your right foot is going to stay lined up with the back of the mat. Turn on your left toes and start to kind of inchworm, if you want, your toes forward to find the length, the distance between your stance. And as I said on the other side, everyone's stance will look different. Some will be shorter than others. So kind of inchworm your toes out. Begin to bend at the knee, and the knee should not go past the toes. It needs to stay stacked over the ankles. So just start a bend there, up and down. No need to jump right into warrior two. Like I did on the other side, I'm going to take my right hand on my right hip and just feel gravity pull it down. I'm not pushing it down. I'm just letting it sink. And between bending at the knee and letting gravity pull that hip down, that kind of lets me know where my stance is for warrior two and where it's at this morning. Every morning, of course, it's different. Every side is different. Now I've started to let my body kind of come and weigh over my bent left leg. So I'm going to pull myself back up, straighten up. I just want to let you know I'm aware we're running past the hour now. It is 9:03 in California. So be aware of that hour. I started about 10 minutes late. I'm going to go over late. So find your feet here. Make sure your body is pulled back up square over the pelvis, and which means a lot of people may be kind of tipping more towards the left. So just pull it back up if you need to. And finally, lift the arms out in a T. So find your warrior two. Nice hip opener on its own. This is a lovely posture. It's one of my favorites on its own. But it is our starting point for half moon. So find a strong foundation here, and then take that right hand, bring it to the right hip. At the same time, or next, walk those right toes in a bit and prepare to launch off those right toes. So again, if you are not comfortable bringing your whole upper body down, no worries. Just stay strong on that left foot and practice coming up either high on your right toes here or just coming up a bit and keeping the upper body upright and comfortable. When you're ready to take more of a plunge, you can really come off those toes and do it in slow motion if you want, by lifting the leg at the same time you lower the upper body to find either the block or the floor. And I'm going to come back on my mat so you can see a little better. This front foot ideally is definitely pointing out to the side like it was at the beginning of warrior two. I know for a lot of people, and myself included on one side in particular, the foot may kind of start to turn in. towards the screen. So make that adjustment if you need to. And if you go slowly and use control to lift that lifted right leg, that really works the glutes. So find your half moon on this side, wherever it may be, and the hand can stay on the hip. It can come feel the heart. Your bottom hand can be on a block. Mine's on the high side of the block. You can turn your block as you're ready to make it a little lower. Turn it once more, even lower, and that helps you if your goal is to eventually get the hand down to the floor. And again, finally, Erin, if you're watching, you can bend that back knee, back foot, and find your dancer. And I don't know, this side is tighter for me than the other, so I do not have it on this side. I can like make motions to get there. Here's my heel. Here are my fingers and my toes. There we go. So if you're doing this one and your hand is down, you can have that vision wants to be down all the way to the floor. So find where you're at. And when you're ready and your left leg is on fire, like mine is at this point, come on out of it, walk around, shake it out. I'm gonna check comments. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys are experimenting with me. Okay, so that was half moon on both sides. Nice work. That concludes our standing part of this practice. So we're just going to go down onto the floor. That was a lot of fun. I hope the hips feel both strong and stable, and yet also open and limber. Those two things work really well together. We don't want to be too open without stability, and we also don't want to be too strong and stable because that equates to tightness if we don't have the mobility and flexibility. So we want all those things to work together. So let's lower down now just onto our backs. On the mat, lay down on your back. Find a comfortable position on your back here. We're not quite headed into Shavasana yet. So keep the knees bent with your feet on the floor and make whatever adjustments you need to kind of lengthen your spine along the mat. So with knees bent, knees facing up towards the ceiling and feet pressed on the floor, this is one thing I like to do to lengthen my spine when I come down onto my back. From this position, just dig your elbows into the mat and lift up, prop yourself up just a bit on your elbows so that your pelvis is pressed down, really tucked, and spine, lower spine pressing into the mat, and then push in on your elbows as you lengthen one vertebrae at a time and lower down on the rest of your back, one vertebrae at a time, middle back, and then continue to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. You can use your hands and lengthen the neck up and head up as you lower back down, and that is just some nice traction for the spine, long spine as you lay down here on the mat. So feel that nice stretch of the spine. Tuck the chin to the chest to really find even more length in the back of your neck. And then take your left leg, cross it over the right so that your ankle is resting on the right thigh, right by the knee. And this is figure 4. And we're just gonna use core strength here. Activate the core and tighten it as you curl the right leg up into figure 4. And take your hands behind your right thigh or around the right calf for this stretch. Nice figure 4 stretch here, long spine on the mat. The more you suck the belly in, the more you'll feel your spine against the mat. So practice that. That kind of tactile feedback can let us know the feelings we're supposed to be having when we're standing, and I say pull the belly in to lengthen the spine. You can feel that actually happening when your spine is pressed against the mat like this. Flex those left toes towards the ceiling. Pull that right knee into your chest even more, and this really will open up the outside of the left hip. So let's let that go. Drop the right foot, bring the left foot down, and now we'll change other side. So just bend the right knee, cross the foot into the figure four, right ankle meets left thigh, lower thigh is right above the knee. And then again, pull the belly in and activate the core. Feel it turn on as you lift the left knee towards your chest, feeling a stretch in the outside of the right hip. And if it feels good to bring your arms through that opening between your legs to pull in on your left thigh or left calf, find that grip, pull the knee in, open that right hip. Take some nice deep breaths. And once more, check in, feel what it feels like to pull the belly in. Pull the belly button in, suck in your belly like you're kind of trying to zip up a tight pair of jeans, and notice the feedback that you get with your spine against the mat in the back. And let that go. Bring your feet both down to the mat once more. We're going to do a bridge. So feet on the mat. Walk them towards your hips, as close to your hips as you can. And if you drop your hands, your fingertips may brush alongside your ankles or your heels. If not, then just know that they went ahead in that direction, fingertips towards the heels. And then press into the feet and lift the pelvis and lower back off the mat. Squeeze the glutes to feel them work and be turned on. If you can connect your hands to your heels or ankles, do so, and lift that pelvis. Tuck the chin towards the chest, lift the pelvis off the mat. And you can kind of tuck your shoulder blades into one another. Lift, lift, lift. Nice strong bridge here. And then let it go. Come back down on the mat. Bring the knees to the chest. You can rock back and forth. And then just lower down all the way. We will do one final twist before Shavasana. So just a really relaxed twist here on your mat here. Bring knees one more time to your chest. You can take that figure four again if you want, with your right leg this time, right leg crossed, right ankle across the left leg, and drop it to your left. Or if you want to just keep your knees together, either way, drop the knees to the left and think of keeping your shoulder blades on the mat evenly and square as knees fall to the left. And then finally, if you want to look towards the right, that right outstretched hand, this is a nice twist just in the midsection. Take some breaths, nice deep breathing. Every exhale will let you fold deeper into that twist. And now we'll change to the other side. So inhale, knees up and center again, hips centered on the mat. If you want to take figure four by crossing the left leg over the right this time, go for it. Otherwise, keep your knees just simply together and falling together towards the right as your shoulder blades stay square on the mat and you look towards the left. Knees to the right, gaze to the left. Really notice your inhale and exhale here. The exhale should let your twist go, move a little deeper each time. Okay, inhale both knees up. And take any last movements you want to. I like to make hip circles with my knees bent like this and just give my lower back a massage. But take any last adjustments you need before we head into Shavasana. And if you're ready just to make your way to Shavasana, go ahead, lower the legs. Drop the arms, palms up towards the ceiling, close your eyes. Remind yourself, if you need to, that yes, there's been plenty that has come before this moment that you're still sorting through, and there's plenty left to be done in anticipation of what's to come. But for now, you're going to take 2 minutes and close your eyes. Just let your body be heavy. Appreciate every little corner of that body. I talked about dusty corners when we started. You have brought some air to those dusty corners. You've blown the air off, blown the dust off. So be appreciative and grateful for that. One more day, one more chance you got to do that. And just breathe here. We're going to take 2 minutes. I will let you know when we're ready to come out, and you're welcome to stay or come on out with me. But just be here now. So my fellow yogis, I hate to break up the stillness. Again, stay if you want in your Shavasana. But for those of us who need to come on out of it, blink open your eyes and make any adjustments you need. It can feel really nice to put hands overhead and do a nice good morning stretch. Fingers to toes. I'm going to bring my knees one at a time back to my chest again. And then both. And just kind of rock right up into a seated position. If you need to fold on one side or the other, first and lay in a fetal position on the side. Feel free. I can see out the window at my puppy chewing on something in the yard that she's not supposed to have, but I will not worry about that right now. There's time to address it later. Thanks for joining me this morning. I was extra late this morning, and I apologize. I still don't know day to day what the schedule is going to look like as I continue to work on renovating the yoga studio that I'm going to open. So for now, we'll just keep going as is. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific, I'll keep streaming. Thanks for showing up here. And I'll definitely try to keep you posted as much as possible about changes to come for the live stream, but really there's not much right now. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Thank you for joining me this morning. Yeah, it's hard to know what to say right now during this time between the coronavirus and the isolation that we're doing, and also the needed social unrest that is happening right now. We participated in a Black Lives Matter demonstration, peaceful protest yesterday. So grateful for it. And yeah, I encourage you to seek out positivity where you can, and like-minded people where you can, because that was really uplifting for me to participate in yesterday. So yeah, it's hard to know what to say. I guess I was gonna say, hey, it's Friday, have a great weekend, but have the weekend you need to have to take care of you and the people around you who mean the most and who need you and who you need to. On that note, I just want to say namaste. The light and teacher and student in me sees, honors, absolutely adores the light and student and teacher in each and every one of you. So thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste.